I just asked it to price out 2-color front, 3-color back on 50 Gildan 5000 shirts. Is everyone sitting down?
All right, welcome back, all. We've got an exciting episode, and here's why. I think the word AI has become a bit of a trend, kind of similar to hearing crypto and hearing NFTs and all that from the prior generation of trendy words. What does it exactly mean? Everyone says it's promising. Everyone said you should be using it, but like why, where, how? How do we exactly be able to use this in your shop today?
We don't want to overwhelm everyone. We want you after this to be able to start using some of the stuff that's out there. I think that's probably the biggest thing is tomorrow after listening to this, you should be able to start using AI.
GraphX Source, we've been mentioning for quite some time. And Stephen Farag's got 3 GraphX Source artists that he uses in his shop every day. And when it comes to SEPs, mockups, creative art, order management, digitizing, and customer service, GraphX Source has been doing it for over 30 years in the game, and they really understand a shop's needs and have a proven track record of success there. It's pretty cool, actually, because they plug into your Printavo account or whatever shop management system you're using, and they're able to work right out of there. So look, if you need to improve efficiency and reduce costs in your art department, GraphX Source, they're there to be able to help. Thank you, guys.
Multicraft Daddy, Multicraft. If you're looking for supplies, consumables, and more importantly, a reliable, trustful source of information, right? Not just, hey, can I get some ink? How do I use the ink? He doesn't know the answer. Don't worry. He'll call me or Steven. He'll get the answer for you. So Multicraft Daddy, Multicraft Ink. Definitely hit up Multicraft for all your supply needs.
Sweet. And PMI Tape and Dave have kind of partnered together. They give away a free case of PMI Tape after every episode. All you have to do is DM Dave and follow him. That's multicraft_daddy. We need to get him over 1,000 followers. Might be, a little sad. Recently a grandpa. So
very recently, Grandpa. Let's make Grandpa Dave Multicraft Grandpa. 1,000 followers. Let's get it.
All right.
Hey, and by the way, I've got about 15 rolls of PMI tape here. So whoever emails me first, bruce@printavo.com, I would love to ship you this. So you can Bruce, use it.
Why do you need PMI tape?
Everybody gets PMI tape.
He's using it for like painting his wall, like edging it off with PMI tape.
Bruce,
I do that raw.
Hand cutting. God, you should make a bid on where you use PMI tape as a non-screen printer. There you go, Andrew. There's your idea. All right, Supacolor. Supacolor is the world's best heat transfer, whether you're printing t-shirts, caps, or bags. Supacolor's unique transfers are designed for specific materials. You can decorate on technical fabrics, expensive items with Supa's simple solution. In our shop, we print on North Face jackets, and Supacolor is there because it's super consistent, and I'm not scared that I'm going to ruin a North Face. So Supacolor helps you make it. Experience them for yourselves using promo code Printavo15. Get 15% off your order. Thanks so much, Rum and the team at Supacolor.
Matt, hit up EasyWay.
Hit up EasyWay and tell us how much you love Alex. So yeah, go for it.
Me? I love Alex. I've known Alex for a long, long time. EasyWay, if you're looking for chemistry, on press or reclaim, it's the best in my opinion that there has ever been. It's fantastic. It just works like it's supposed to. You can get it through Multicraft Daddy. You can hit up EasyWay to find other local distributors. It's the easiest way. Use EasyWay.
Matt, what's your favorite flavor of EasyWay?
701 cherry.
Nice. You know what I told Alex? I said you should remarket EasyWay like Liquid Death. Did you guys see that? Did you see that Liquid Death almost got sued by Arnold Palmer, so they changed the name to Dead Billionaire?
I didn't see that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Artificial intelligence. Matt, Matt and Bruce have a text thread, and I'm in a lot of text threads with Matt. I might not talk to Matt every week, but I feel like I hear from Matt every week. We just talk around each other all the time. We know what each other's doings, So Matt has been using, if there's one person in the industry that has been using AI in its simplest form consistently, it's Matt Marcotte, because Matt's extremely scrappy and he runs a small shop. And so he has to get he has to get super creative. We heard from Michelle Moxley at Print Hustlers that gave us this huge overview of it. And Matt has I feel like you've really been on the ground floor. You've found good hacks that are actually usable, and you've developed Screenprinting GPT, which we'll talk about at some point. So can you, Matt, give us in the simplest form, what is the one most important thing you use? Like, what tool do you use and what do you use it for every day?
I use ChatGPT every day. I would say at its core, that's probably my go-to, but I use all sorts of different little more automation tools throughout the day than necessarily artificial intelligence tools. A lot of what I'll use.
Sorry, Matt, what are you typing into ChatGPT? Because I think that's part of the initial
GPT,
thing of
Bruce. It's GPT.
ChatGPT. What are you? What are you
GPT, generative pre-trained transformers. That's what GPT stands for. So the more you know.
Someone who's never used it before, it's like, well, I don't know. What do I ask it?
Here's the simplest way that I use it in my day to day. Right, you have an email that you're dealing with a customer. They're kind of being a pain in the butt, right? And so you kind of just word dump what you think, and then you're like, "Oh, that comes off too crass." And you start overthinking it. Now all of a sudden you're bogging down what should only take a minute to 5 or 6 minutes of is the tone right? Are they going to understand me? So don't waste your time with that. Just copy your little brain dump into ChatGPT and say, make it more professional. And it just, boop, and 8 seconds, you've got a better email, copy and paste it. I actually use an AI assistant that lives on my desktop. So it's already plugged into my email. So I don't actually have to go. That one is Max AI is what I'm currently using. I'm testing it out. There's a couple different ones that are out there. But Max AI, it's actually on my screen at all times. It's in my Gmail at all times. So I can just, in my Gmail, type what I want, hit a button, and there's a little drop-down list that says make it more professional, make it shorter, make it longer. I click the button, it fixes it, I click send. I'm no longer bogged down. The most, I actually just use Screenprint GPT to make a blog about this. The worst thing a shop deals with day in and day out is those little micro tasks that just bog you down. You're like, oh, it's a little thing. Oh, it's a little thing. We're doing thousands of little things throughout the day, especially as a screen print shop owner, right? So whenever you can find the way to make those little things you're doing even shorter, that's the biggest ROI on your time you're going to find, as opposed to trying to find the long thing and make it drastically shorter.
Okay, so Max.ai, this is a writing tool, but you can also use
AI.me.
You can also just use the ChatGPT browser window. So I think what I would tell people to do is start going to ChatGPT instead of Google.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Start there. Just start going to ChatGPT instead of Google and just pretend, flip them out for a week. And then it's gonna start to train you. And so Matt, one of the things you just said is writing. ChatGPT helps you with writing. All right, what is the next thing you are using ChatGPT for every day?
And by the way, if you haven't been to it, it's chat.openai.com. So there's a lot of weird kind of cloney type stuff on there, but that's the main one that you can use, and you can download the mobile app as well. And like Farag said,
and by the way, it's free. ChatGPT is free. Some of the features we're going to get into a little bit later on, those are behind the Plus subscription. But ChatGPT 3.5 is free to use. The app now has talk abilities. You can talk to it and talks back to you. So it's great. But Stephen, the other thing that I use ChatGPT and AI for often is, with Printavo, right? I'm doing implementation and training, right? So when I'm looking at someone's automated email that we're sending out to customers, I'm also taking that blurb and I'm rewriting it that way, right? So that's one way I also use it. I also make art all the time. I've made numerous t-shirt designs for customers. So running a print shop, someone's like, well, I kind of want to look at some ideas. In the past, it was like, okay, well, let's spend a bunch of art time. Let's make some thumbnails. Let's see which thumbnail you like, and let's dive a little deeper. And they might not even like any of it. I can use ChatGPT and DALL-E 3, which is built into the Plus model. There's Midjourney. There's a bunch of other ones out there too. And I can do rapid prototyping for a design concept in under a minute and have multiple variations of that to show customers. I've used it and made Sound and Fury, my print shop, designs that we've put on shirts and sold and made money off of a couple minutes on ChatGPT, right? So art creation is definitely another big, powerful part of it.
Can we talk about, so when ChatGPT and OpenAI first came out and it was stable diffusion, you have to have Discord downloaded. It was all about writing prompts. You had to write these really, really good prompts to get the art to spin up. And a couple people on our team, will just like focus on writing these prompts. I'm like, this is like learning a piano of how you want to tune this thing. And so I would always like get stuck and like, I can't get it to look this way. In the last month, art creation has become significantly easier with the native tools that OpenAI has put out. And just so everyone knows, ChatGPT is the like browser of OpenAI. So that's like the same thing. When we say OpenAI, that's basically ChatGPT. There are other tools out there like Bing, or like there's like these apps on iPhone called like Wonder and stuff like that. We're talking about the OG tool. It has become significantly easier to make art in the last couple of months. Matt, can you talk about why it's easier to make art now more than ever?
Yeah. So like you said, like before DALL-E 3 was a part of the ChatGPT family in there, you had to use ChatGPT to make the prompt, go to Midjourney, go to Stable Diffusion. And like you said, it was a lot of like case by case, like, don't like that, change some words, give it some aspect ratios. You had to like really dive into prompting, how to prompt. And like you said, it's like learning piano. It is complex, right? So now with the update to GPT-4, which is the plus subscription, you got to pay, I think it's like $25 a month for it. It just lives natively in there. So you can just tell it, I want this, and it'll spit it out. Now, there is still some prompting of like understanding what you're asking for. Just asking for art doesn't tell you much, right? There's different styles of art, right? There's Baroque, there's classic, there's all sorts of different styles. So you have to define the style, define some basics of it, and it'll spit out iterations. You can say, give me another one, less colors, more complex, black background, right? And it'll start to make iterations in seconds. You can then download that file and you're good to use that, right? So it's become from having to be complex and like almost like a Mad Lib of how to do the proper prompt. It's just a matter of just kind of data dump it in there. I have found some little ways to go about how you're going to prompt it to kind of form a sentence. If you think about grammar, there's the correct way to speak. None of us do it that way, right? There's the correct way to speak. So there's the correct way to speak to ChatGPT as well when it comes to really getting what your mind's eye is envisioning actually out of the GPT. So I actually do have a little prompt guide for creating art for t-shirts that I'll actually make available. We can put a link afterward. I'll make available. You can grab that and kind of help you through how to do that.
You're such a nice guy. I know Bruce is going to rip on text not working very well. So Bruce, I'll let you do that in a second because I know that's your biggest knock on text. This was the biggest unplug for me with art. So for us, at Campus Inc., we're coming out with Athlete Creative very, very quickly. We're basically coming up with packs for schools that have to be very much positioned to them. So we're just thinking about it, but it has to be very original and very like traditional. For me, there was an update to GPT. Is it 4.5? What's the number?
It's 4 right now.
Okay. If you're going to use this, pay the $20. Don't buy a Mercedes with with roll up windows. Just pay the $20 or this isn't going to make any sense. So there's your PSA. I don't have a referral link. So you can upload an image and have it write you a description. So I have 2 bulldogs, super cute. And I wear a tie-dye hoodie. They have matching tie-dye hoodies and I wanted to cartoon them some way, shape or form. So I literally took a picture of them sitting and I always post pictures of my dogs because I love them. And I just said, describe this for me. And it spit out this beautiful description. It's like you have a French bulldog on the right and the dog on the right is cream colored and the dog on the left has gray skin and, they're laying on a couch in a comfortable fashion. And it just like did this whole thing. I took that description and then I put it back into the prompt and said, make me a Pixar cartoon with this description. And then it spit it out. And then I started editing it. Make them wear a navy tie-dye, make them wear a navy hoodie, make them wear a navy tie-dye hoodie, have one where their ears are poking through, right? And so I like iterated on it over and over and over again. And that was its way of training me because it wrote the description for me. And so I think that is the biggest unplug. I can take a picture of Bruce's bobblehead and it'll describe it. And I can go in detail and say, describe his head for me because he's got a great bobblehead head, So that is the biggest unlock that I see. But text, Bruce, give it your take on where it falls short.
Well, can you share the Indiana kind of vectored art and some of the other ones? Because I think when you start to create art in there, it's like, okay, this is cool, but this probably isn't something that we'd have on apparel, or, this isn't
Sure.
like a vectorized type of style. When you get into that, because you could tell it, hey, look, create a vectorized piece of art and then give it more of a description. But how do you get closer, right, to that screen printing type of art to be able to take it to the next level?
That's all the prompt. That's how you're describing what kind of art you're looking for. I always like to ask for 2D art and then give it more information. That automatically kind of helps kind of bring it to more of like a linear style art. There's different kinds of art. Obviously, if you're doing DTG or DTF, who cares? Just get a high resolution file, and it gives you pretty high resolution file. You can use a bunch. I use a couple of different AI vectorizers, AI auto enhancers. I can make sure those are in that download too, so you have that for the cheat sheet that I've created. But that's all about how you're asking it. If you're Steven and you've got 3 DTF machines, there's nothing wrong with going ahead and taking those super awesome Pixar style cartoon and putting that on a shirt. People like that if that's what they're looking for, right? It's all about what kind of art you're asking it to give you.
So I think what Bruce is referring to is like you walk into you want cool resort wear, or like cool logos or bar t-shirts. And, you could, a lot of times we start on Pinterest, right? I go on Pinterest and I find something I like. Right. And so what I would do is I would go on Pinterest, find something I'd like. I like the format. I like the way the text is arched there. Right. And, we need to make sure we try to be as original as possible, but we do use other art for inspiration. So say I found a ski resorts thing that I really liked. I would throw it into GPT and say, describe it for me. And what it's really going to help you describe is the arrangement of pieces and logos and stuff. And so that's where we were able to quickly create at least how we wanted everything arranged for like a t-shirt for like a college. Bruce, is that what you're...
And that was directly in ChatGPT. That wasn't any other tools.
He'll get it. GPT.
Is that not what I said? What did I say?
No, he said GTP.
God damn it.
You could say GPP.
Maybe this is just past the prime. It's like when the internet starts to come along and parents are like, huh?
I think that shop should start uploading images and having it describe you. I even did one of Justin Lawrence after the show of his picture in the RV. There's no way I would have been able to write a prompt for that. And it made his Instagram, and he's like got a lot of followers. So I was honored. But yeah. And then it was like him in an RV holding a beer with a hat, short, red beard kind of thing.
White New Balance with Stephen bottom.
White New Balance's socks. And then I just kept tweaking it. So
you can also actually take, if you've got like a decent art eye and the ability to make art, you can quickly whip something up and you can give that to ChatGPT. So you can take like your kind of rough outline of what you want it to be, give that to ChatGPT, have them describe that, and then do what Stephen's saying, and then iterate upon that to finish your artwork.
So you're saying sketch on a napkin, take a picture, have it describe it, create a logo out of it, pull that into Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, start working with it, right?
Yep.
I think the one thing that we'll say is ChatGPT and DALL-E are a stepping stone to get you to make art quicker, but it's not going to make print ready art. Although they have a tool out there that you can design stickers and order through there, which I heard doesn't work yet, but like, it's just a stepping stone, right? It's going to get you a little faster.
And by the way, they'll get there. You'll notice, like Farag mentioned, the text, it doesn't understand the alphabet just yet. And so it's interpreting what it thinks are letters into your design when you ask it to spell something out. But
it's getting there. Right now, I'm like 40-50% accuracy on actually getting text into the design too. It's getting better. You got to remember, in the last 10 months, ChatGPT went from being able to output like 1,000 words to now it's like 60,000, being able to create PDFs, create Excel files. In 10 months, it has already 10x'd. Yeah, just imagine what it's going to continue to do. They're already talking about GPT-5 being released early 2024. They're saying it'll be able to input and output video. all sorts of stuff. We're kind of at that singularity point where like the technology is improving its own technology, and the longer it goes, the smarter it will get in a quicker duration.
And they fired their CEO and rehired them like all in the same weekend. So like
that wild 5 days of like the biggest Silicon Valley shakeups ever. Insanely wild to watch. Yeah, three of us were like nerding out, texting the entire time.
Yeah, Bruce, you have been using it to analyze data. Can you give us your, like, you've just been uploading spreadsheets and like messing with the number stuff. Can you give us, you kind of got me and Matt's side of things. What are you using it for?
Yeah. So ChatGPT added this module. So this internet thing added this module called Advanced. It called Advanced Data Analysis. So this is a newer module that came out about 2 months ago. And this thing will analyze any data set you upload to it. And it's as simple literally as opening up chat.openai.com, uploading a file like a Printavo order export, for example, and then asking questions. And that sounds stupidly simple, but it is that simple. So you go and you ask it, and you can ask, and let me give a couple examples of things that I was asking. So, hey, these are orders from X date to X date. You are a data scientist. This column total is the total sales amount. Tell me who are the top 3 customers by total sales out of this data set. That's exactly the prompt that I wrote. And as you could see, just like Steve and I were saying, it's kind of like you're almost like talking to like a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old or something to try to educate them as to what role they want to play and what they should understand to be able to apply it to your question. And it gave it to me. I mean, it outprinted it in a nice clear table. Okay, here's the next level. I said, create a chart of sales by month for orders in 2023, because we uploaded a couple of years of orders. Did you notice any sales trends that didn't follow typical e-commerce business? And, it gave me 4 bullet points around a mid-year surge. Normally e-commerce companies experience inconsistent growth patterns because the growth went way up in August and then petered off at the end. A peak in August, it noticed, which was somewhat unusual for the norm e-com company. Anyway, and it created this chart. That's just a couple of them. I mean, I even asked I tried to explain a contribution margin, and I said, did we have a profitable month? Because I explained what our overhead was and then what our average profit is per order. And then it spit out its results there. I even said, give me average total quantity, right, for orders over a certain date range. And so, I mean, just to be able to crunch this data and not have to learn Excel, it's like mind-blowing.
It's getting smarter too. Like I took some data out of my shop's Printavo exports, right? And I didn't actually go into like, you're a data analyst. I just dropped it in there and started asking questions, and it still spit it out. Now, the more you can train it to be an expert and to understand who it is, you can definitely tailor that experience. I did that with Screenprint GPT, kind of tailored that experience a little bit more. But you don't have to feel like you need to be a prompt whiz. Just start using it and have it teach you, hey, I'm looking for information. How should I ask you to get this? It'll tell you. It will help train you to train it.
And so I just literally uploaded, I had an inventory report, and I said please add up how many items have the word Sigma Chi in it. And what it does do is it shows you the code, the Python code that it used to try to do it. So you can actually maybe see where you went wrong. You're like, ooh, make sure it's column C. So it is the scavenger hunt. Bruce, does this mean you are going, and Bruce you've been messing with a lot of Printavo data, which I appreciate. Does this mean you're going to help us get line item data out sooner than later? Is that your mission for the next
or ChatGPT embedded into Printavo so we can just ask it questions as opposed to trying to make reports?
When's that? Are we clipping this part?
Those sound super cool. I mean, yeah. So I did encounter a couple issues with filtering data of certain columns. So for example, dates. I'm still working through if my prompt is not correct in a way. So anyway, I'm trying to get that dialed in so it can do a larger set of data. It worked really well for a year. it really started, it wasn't 100% accurate when I went to like 3-4, I think Farag, you exported like 5 years or something of data.
I did from the beginning of time.
Yeah. So that I was like, whoa, this number's off. And then you're like, yeah, that looks off. And so anyway, getting through that. And then I'd love to just build a quick export to get the line items out too. And then try that. And you could ask it literally any question you want
Long
that
Beach,
you would pull in from reports.
Long Beach, Jan 1. Yeah, Jan
Christmas
1.
for my birthday.
November 1.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, Long Beach. This will be Bruce is gonna try and hack on this.
We got a hack day coming up, don't we?
I'm just kidding.
We do.
Don't get me in
I'm
trouble.
I'm not kidding. That's Bruce's hack day.
The keyboard warriors are gonna come out.
Take any system that you're using. That's it could be QuickBooks data, it could be Printavo data, Inksoft data, Shopify data, whatever. And dump it in and think of the questions that you normally run reports on, maybe monthly, and just see what you get. It's like it'll make you smile as to how cool it is.
Here's something else that I actually did utilizing some Printavo data that I found helpful. I have a lot of, and you shops there, you might have this too, where people are kind of asking for quotes, but you do the quotes and you're like, they were just pricing me out. They weren't actually, I wasted my time making quote. Now I've gotten really good at making quotes. I can make a damn good quote in like a minute, right? But you start doing this for repeat offenders, you're like, why am I wasting any of this time? So I went into Printavo and I downloaded the CSV of my pricing matrix. I went to ChatGPT, uploaded the pricing matrix and said, create me an HTML box where there's a slide bar for quantity of colors, quantity of shirts, and then put a basic shirt at $5, a high-end shirt at $8, or no cost for decoration only. And it spit out the appropriate HTML and JavaScript. I was able to test that out on JS Fiddle, which is like another little sandbox. And without being a dev, it worked perfectly. I had a layout change, totally make a quite layout change in there. Put that in on my Squarespace website. So now if you check out soundandfuryprint.com /calc, you'll see this whole little box that took me from idea to completion under 5 minutes. And now you can just go ahead and slide bar and actually see if I'm more expensive than you.
Snap.
That's actually really cool.
Wow. So that is sick. This is what's wild. This exact thing Neil, our CTO, built for our students and had to really spend a ton of time in it. That's wild. And then there's
I've got a dev buddy that we do some stuff for my other company's DecoFlow, and we're kind of playing with stuff, and we'll start he'll hit a dead wall. I can't code this, and then I'll go talk to ChatGPT for 10 minutes, hey, try this, and every time he's like, dude, you're pissing me off. I've got a master's in this. You don't know how to code. How are you doing this? I'm not. Just the robots are helping me.
It gives you a 30%, 50% bump in efficiency. You guys want to talk about Screenprinting GPT?
Yes.
Did I say it right?
ScreenprintGPT.com. Yeah, Screenprint GPT. Yeah.
So wait, Matt, before you do that, OpenAI in their last release now allows you to create your own GTPs. So what does that mean? They're giving you a puppy and letting you train it.
I'm going to make a Bruce PT now and just have Bruce saying things wrong. So let's talk about OpenAI had their dev day, which is kind of it was their first one. It's like a big keynote type thing, like how Apple does their big keynotes. And they announced a bunch of different things, including your ability to make custom GPTs, right? So ChatGPT, as they built it, it's using the internet as well as other data knowledge sets that it's crafting on its own in the back end. So what this gives you is the front end of a GPT that can browse the internet, use DALL-E, use these different features that are all embedded in there. But then you can also give it a data set, give it a personality, give it a voice, and kind of make it and craft it to be your own. It's still able to use the internet to gather the data and give correct information, but you can adjust its tone, its temperature, and also some other data sets that might not be super easy to find on the internet, where it's just searching SEO and grabbing those top things. It can be deep data that maybe is never even on the internet. That might be a PDF from 40 years ago or a book you've got. As long as you can get it into a PDF that you can put onto its back end, you can then train its knowledge set to be more custom for what you want.
Okay. So I'm going to give Marcotte some kudos here, because we were in California in Newport, and we were egging him on to buy domain names. Maybe we were slightly inebriated. But Marcotte has like way too many domain names. He'll tell you all about them. He'll buy your name. Maybe I'll buy your name. But Marcotte's always thinking about like, how can I like enhance the industry? Like, how can I take my knowledge and like point it outwards, right? Because we call Marcotte when we need his help all the time, and he'll tell us OEMs and whatever. And so you made almost like, you basically, correct me if I'm wrong, have spent the last couple of weeks gathering every inch of knowledge about the industry and training a GPT model just for our space. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I've over the last 20 years, I've had little blog posts or actually printed out PDFs, things that I can't seem to find on the internet, but I've got old like PDFs of them. Well, I was able to take those, scan them in, use AI to take those scans and actually translate them into actual editable PDFs. And I took and compiled what is roughly about 500 pages of data through a couple different PDFs. And I've uploaded that to the data set behind Screenprint GPT. So when you're asking Screenprint GPT questions, yes, it's using the internet, but it's also first filtering its responses through the data set that I've given it, right? So it's actually looking at the technical jargon that sometimes get lost in the process, understands all the different things that you're trying to do. So when you ask it questions, it actually reads my data in a second, plus the internet in a second, and gives you the best answer it can, as opposed to just whatever it found in its SEO rankings when it searched the internet.
So I started testing it and going through the dumb questions that I ask Matt, or that I have asked Matt in my career.
Give an example.
And so my emulsion is shredding when we're reclaiming, right? When we are reclaiming. And it's, I think you're not exposing enough or something. There's something on exposure, right? And so I literally just put my emulsion is shredding when we're reclaiming, and we'll see what it comes up with. But it says, so first of all, it's sympathetic, just like Matt Marcotte would be. Shredding of emulsion during the reclaiming process can be frustrating and may result from a few different issues. Here's some potential issues. Incorrect emulsion exposure. If the emulsion isn't properly exposed, it might not fully harden, leading to shredding during reclaiming. Ensure that your exposure times are accurate and for the type of emulsion. Use an exposure calculator to help determine it. Age or quality of emulsion. Screen tension. Chemical interaction, emulsion thickness, and it gives one of the most detailed, organized answers that someone would pull their hair out for weeks trying to figure out what's going on and ask every question in the Facebook group. So like, that was one stupid question, and it's still going. It's given me a bunch of different things. And so like, I sent this to my press operator. I'm like, just start asking it stuff. And he was just like, what? This is insane. So like even down to that, Matt, give us some other crazy ones.
I mean, I've already seen some people talk about like vibrations on their press and like what to look for, and it's actually giving some basic maintenance ideas. I'm working to try to gather as many of the press PDFs manuals as I possibly can too, to try to add that to the backing. So I'd like it to actually be able to help give you maintenance suggestions and maintenance help. How do I print puff? It tells you. How do I reclaim with EasyWay? It tells you, right? Best practices for EasyWay. It'll tell you, right? Because we've stacked on all these different data sets in the back end. And you said something there too, Stephen, that was honestly one of the reasons I created this, right? I love being able to learn from this industry, and I'm so I'm kind of blessed in this way to like be able to be in a world where I can learn from people as a career, right? And then share that knowledge as much as I can. Knowledge should be free. GPT says it's $20 a month. But anyways, knowledge should be free. So I always want to kind of give that knowledge back. Everyone was usually going to the default, calling their homie that might know the answer, or going to Facebook. Now, I'm not trying to throw shade at Facebook. Everybody likes Facebook or doesn't like Facebook. It's their own cup of tea there, right? I hate Facebook personally. And Stephen and I for years have had conversations about like, oh, I could be so beneficial if I was in these Facebook forums and doing more. I just can't stand it personally. It's such a toxic, negative place, and it works me up in a way that's not good for me. I'm not a Lee Stewart that like goes and gets inspired by being in those areas. I get angry, right? So I wanted to create a place where people could just get answers and not have to deal with the crotchety dude who is been doing something for 40 years the wrong way, but is like so hell-bent on telling you you're dumb, right? And that's what I see most of the time on these Facebook forums, right? Now, there's a lot of quality in there. So again, keyboard warriors, don't hate me. Please continue to do what you're doing, right?
Hate him.
That's fine. I won't read it because I won't be there. So I don't care. Hate on me, right? But I wanted to make this where they could still get those types of answers, the detailed, correct answers, without all the drama, politics, opinions, and everything else that seems to be just plaguing these forums, right? So it just strips off all that BS and goes straight to actually being your AI screen printing expert.
I just asked it. So my head one on my M&R Sportsman is really messed up. And everyone's super backed up and can't fix it. It's got literally when you turn it on, there's like a sensor or something that makes all the other ones just go crazy. Like they just like dance or something. Like something is really messed up with it. So we've just turned it off. And so I just went in and said that. And it said like, you know, go to like, it basically went you through different things. Like, is there a mechanical obstruction, right? Like check the control panel to see if there's a wire loose that might be tripping, right? Like inspect the drive system to make sure that there's proper tension and lubrication in the bearings, right? And so it's pretty, I mean, it knew that much about an M&R Sportsman.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of wild.
Did you upload the manuals?
I did for the Sportsman. So EXGs I've got on the back end of that. Yes. Some other equipment I'm still working to try to get that data from different places so I can put it in there. But it is also leveraging the internet. I can't take full credit for ChatGPT. It is also leveraging the internet in there, but it does always kind of filter back through the voice and the persona that I gave it.
Okay, Matt, besides, so we talked about like things that are going wrong in your shop, whether it's your press or in your dark room. What are the other use cases? And you're like training it basically, right? Like this is your new dog and you are teaching it new tricks and you are feeding it information. What are the other tricks that you're excited about that you've been working on?
I mean, I'm trying to also give it a screen print marketing and screen print manager's voice too. So I'm currently working on like how to help you craft things like terms and conditions, help you craft things like I want to have a frequently asked questions page. Can you give me the most frequently asked questions that a screen print shop might experience, as well as the answers, and actually have some industry standards that are in there. Being able to create standard print locations, sizes, and then also be able to generate content for your own Instagram and your own Facebook to help market that too. So I'm really trying to get ScreenPrint GPT to not only be your screen print technical expert, but to also be your go-to for any kind of data that you're trying to create. If it's for marketing, if it's for sales, if it's for training materials, anything along those lines, right? So I'm actually creating a lot of blog posts now. We'll see if I can do it. I'm trying to do a blog post every single day in under 10 minutes, right? Using ScreenPrint GPT and then putting it on screenprintgpt.com. And then using that to also create assets that you can download and use. I'm putting those assets on the back end of ScreenPrint GPT as well when you utilize that, right? So anything it's spinning off and creating, I'm then putting it into its knowledge set to also be able to reference, to continue to compound its own ability and give you more data quicker, better, faster, everything.
I have to share something that I just did on here. Is everyone sitting down?
We're buckled in.
I'm not. Should I? It's standing desk. You won't see me.
Yes.
Don't stand up, actually. I just asked it to price out 2-color front, 3-color back on 50 Gildan 5000 shirts. It is literally crunching all the different factors that go into a shirt. I am stunned by this. I'm waiting for it. Ready for this? Okay. 50 pieces, 2-color front, 3-color back. It gives you the breakdown. It says cost, ink, supplies, labor, overhead, profit margin, market research, complexity, and setup fees. Those are all the things that you should take into it. It even says you should decide on a profit margin, like 10 to 50% of your cost. And then it breaks down and says you have your cost of your shirt. Let's do an example. It says, suppose each Gildan 5000 shirt costs $2.50. For 50 shirt, this is $125. You have your ink and supplies, say that's $25. Your labor is $200. Your overhead is $1,000, and it gives you like a factor there. And so it goes, for this example, we would charge $585 total. So that is something like what, $10? What's 585 divided by 50? 10.25 a shirt.
Yeah,
that's pretty accurate.
Pretty damn close, actually. Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
I can actually use my little slider that we were talking about a second ago and find out what mine would actually be. So that was a G5000, 50 units.
Yeah.
All right, let's give that a go. I'll let you know what my print shop would actually charge for that. But that's the kind of point. I actually did, and it's using the internet, but I actually did also add in to its knowledge set how to break down cost analysis from things that I've learned from you two guys over the years of watching the podcast, learning from you guys, all that stuff. So it should be breaking things down into realistic measures and giving pretty decent content. And of course, now my internet's going too slow because I'm browsing this, but we'll just say that that's pretty damn close to accurate.
Yeah. Wow.
Pretty crazy.
Damn.
I even clicked on one of your examples of create me a job description for a screen printing press operator.
So I do have examples that are kind of there that you can play with. And that's what he's talking about. Yep.
So if you click that, most job descriptions on the web, like around this, are very general, and you have to spend some time. And that's why we actually created a ton of templates for every role, and you could download those. But this one, key response. So I'm like, all right, let's see if it gets the key responsibilities part right, because that's where it always is like, can operate equipment. It's just super generic. Anyway, first bullet point. Set up and operate screen printing press efficiently while maintaining high and productive standards. Perform routine maintenance and troubleshooting. Mix and match inks according to specs and viscosity as needed. Align and register screens accurately to achieve precise color and print alignment. Anyway, it goes on, and maintain a clean and safe work environment. Adhere to all safety environmental guidelines. And then last one says, keep detailed records of work orders, materials used, and any issues encountered. That's pretty cool. Would it know? And maybe I should just ask, what would you pay? Because I always see people ask, like, what do you guys pay for a production manager?
Ask it. I think it'll give you the answer. And Stephen, mine's $10.85 is what my cost would be for Sound and Fury. So I'm not sure what you came up with.
It was $585 total. Divide that by 50. Is that 1085?
1085. Oh, wow. Yeah. So that's pretty much exactly what mine came out to be.
Okay.
Too,
so
yeah.
if you want Sound and Fury's pricing,
it's not actually based off of that.
Okay. But check this out. While you were doing that, Matt, I responded to it and said, actually, what if it was embroidery? And so then it went back and said, well, we've got to have digitizing, stitches, machine setups. And so then it goes, well, if you want to do I kept it as 2-color front, 3-color back. It said, we're going to have $1.50 per 1,000 stitches. If there's 5,000 stitches, it's $7.50 per shirt. And now it bumped up the price to, it basically made it double.
Embroidery GPT begins.
Embroidery GPT, but damn, that explanation right there, I can copy and paste that and put it in all my employees' trainings and be like, this is everything that goes into embroidery pricing. Right. Mm-hmm. And so this is super cool. And kudos to you. You've spent a ton of time on this. So everyone should, how do you find this?
So if you head to ScreenprintGPT.com, it's free to use. You have to have a GPT Plus subscription. It is the $20 a month, right? But it's free to use once you have that. So head to ScreenprintGPT.com. I do have it kind of gated just behind. Drop me your email address and your name. It'll give you the link right then. You're going to get some emails on my newsletter kind of letting you know when we have updates to ScreenPrint GPT. I'm using the blog to create things. One of those chats Stephen and I were in, they were talking about performance reviews, end of the year reviews, all that kind of stuff. So I went ahead and took the concept of, hey, that's happening, end of the year, people are doing that. Made a blog, has downloadable content, and actually shows you how to go about doing performance review. Has a template you can print out to have them fill out. It tells you how to go through it. So always trying to generate applicable content that you can use. So I'll be sure to, as we have blog posts, you'll get emails about those blog posts, kind of letting you have a cheat sheet of maybe not having to go into GPT to do these things, but I can provide you what I'm doing and playing with as we go along too.
Matt, can you feed it funny jokes about our industry so people can like laugh at it? Like, like tell me about, can you give it some fun personality in the next couple of weeks so we can.
Stupid about to offend.
I've been doing some research on temperature. So actually setting the temperature of how it acts, right? So not being as professional, but still trying to deliver professional content while being a bit of a silly bastard like I am, right? So trying to like figure out the way to get that in there. It's complex. I am working on that though. You can ask it screen printing jokes. They're just not funny yet.
Can Screen Printing Hall of Fame include people under the age of 80 that are also non-Caucasian?
I would love that because no more comments. I can't say anything, but yeah, that would be great because that whole world is something else. Yep.
But no,
that was just my joke from the.
When I type in a question, I want to be like, respond like Marcotte would respond, or tell me what Marshall would say. That's
So we actually, you can do that if you kind of scrape the internet, which there are some plugins you can use using ChatGPT to actually scrape things. I'm working on that too. But you can scrape that and you can kind of get a voice based off of literature they've written. And actually part of the backend of GPT is all the things I've ever written for any blog post, anything. It is also loaded in there to kind of get a bit of my tone and my temperature. But it needs to have a little bit more personality, or at least an option to say like, hey, give me more personality with this and actually get kind of the Marcotte response, not just the data response.
Matt, you said something earlier. You said knowledge should be free, right?
Time is money. Time is money.
Time is money.
Knowledge should be free.
And right now you have this set up for free. I don't think you should make it free because you are a wealth of knowledge. You also are spending a ton of time doing this. And when people pay for something, they really understand the value of it. So get it while it's free, but I'm pushing you to charge.
So full disclosure, I am looking at what it would look like to have a bot that's on Screenprint GPT. So if you're a Plus member, maybe you can still use that for free in GPT Plus. I think everyone should be doing that anyways. But I am looking at what it would take to create a bot that lives on the website that would be paid and gated behind a nominal fee. So you could still be able to use it on your phone, still do that. But that way you can still leverage what you're getting and not to pay maybe the $20 to Screenprint or to ChatGPT, but pay 5 or 10 or something, for example, into Screenprint.
Me and
GPT.
Bruce will
so
get
I'm
one
working on that
subscription. We'll share our password like Netflix.
Thanks guys for sharing. Appreciate coming on, Matt. I know you got a busy schedule. Farag.
Yeah. Real quick to everybody, make sure we will add the link down below for that cheat sheet for prompting for t-shirt designs. But definitely play with that, right? And I'll be sure to kind of input some tools I use for upscaling images, vectorizing images. I'll put those links in that downloadable sheet. So definitely make sure to grab that. And like Steven said, start using ChatGPT and Screenprint GPT, but just start using ChatGPT today. It's going to start taking over the world, and you don't want to be too late when that happens.
And then when you find something cool, screenshot and DM it into Matt, because I've been like just sending him stuff, and then he's like just making it better and better and better.
I've actually got a form fill on the website too, suggestions and ideas. There's already been almost 200 people have gotten the link to use Screenprint GPT. No one's given me any negative feedback through there. I've gotten a handful of texts, but anything to help it get better and help you get data better, please let me know. Bruce, and you can also follow Screenprint_GPT on Instagram and DM me there too.
I got one question. We're going to challenge Bruce to this. Bruce, could you train it to say, I'm uploading this transfer, send an email to Supacolor, order 50 of these in a A4 size, or go in and do that?
There are tasks, but I haven't played around with it. I know OpenAI does have tasks like in browser based tasks that came out a couple months ago. I mean, like one way it can do it is actually it can write it can help you write code to interact with APIs. And I know Supercolor has built out their API. And so that's one way. I think the easier way is this task thing, but we should look into it and get back on it.
Yeah, that's like the Zapier round two.
Zapier GPT is in the works as well. And so there's going to be more opportunity to use ChatGPT with Zapier or other automations to streamline a lot more of your day.
And you can go to Zapier now. I used to be Zap King. That is now Matt Marcotte. And so you can actually just type in like, make me a Zap that connects this app, and this app, and it'll build the Zap for you. So you don't need anything anymore. Like, yeah, you can literally just type it and it'll do it. So thanks, Matt. Dude, this was awesome.
Appreciate it. Hey guys, thanks for listening to this episode. Hope you have a great week, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for listening. Hopefully that was informative. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to hit the bell for notifications if you enjoyed this video. If you enjoy all the stuff we're putting out, it's really helpful. We love to just be able to see it. That means that we're doing a good job. To subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and hit the like button. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.